that makes sense. For this reason it says, awake, sleeper, rise from the dead, and Christ will shine on you. Therefore be careful how you walk, not as unwise men, but as wise, making the most of your time, because the days are evil. So then do not be foolish, but understand what the will of the Lord is. And then he goes into the rest of chapter 5 and talks about relationships. Right? Doesn't talk about pushing us to have more gifts or heavenly encounters. He talks about relationships. He talks about wives. This is a little icky, but wives submitting to their husbands. And husbands laying down their life and their self for their wife. Talks about servants or slaves. Let's bring it into the now. For us, employees. Submitting themselves and walking in a way that is pleasing to their masters or their employers by doing all things as unto God, not as unto men. That's been so lost in our Christianity. Because we think that we may think that that's true, that that's finite and has little eternal value. And I'm telling you, it's the opposite of what we think. We think that getting up into the heavens and the heavenly realm is the high calling of God when we're still bound to this earth. And I'm telling you that God is trying to bring heaven to earth inside of you in the now to express himself by life. That is, I will never back down from that truth. God is using, again, you have to see this, God is using. It said of Jesus in the book of Hebrews that he was heard by the Father because of his piety. If we think that there's a helpmate coming to the throne that's not going to look and speak like Christ, then we're wrong. The work of God is to get in here in the inner man, to the roots and the sources that make us unlike him, to uproot them out of his love, to deal with us, and to bring more of himself. He does not take away. God does not, he's not into the vacuum scenario. He doesn't leave things in a vacuum. That's why if we're unwilling to allow the Lord to really deal with us, he won't even start the work. Because if he goes down that path and we're unwilling, the judgment will be worse for us at the judgment seat. And if he begins to free us in his sovereignty, but there's no commitment inwardly to the cost of discipleship to follow him to the death of our self-life and our own government, if he begins to take us down that path and we stop, everything that we were before will come back on us 7 times worse. But we are not those who shrink back, amen?